What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ, and as you can see, I'm not alone. I am actually here with my friend Elaine, and we are going to be talking some nostalgia today. Alright, so here we are. Elaine, what is going on?
Just been reminiscing on some games as you and I usually do, and today I had in mind one of the many systems that made a huge impact on my life, but the Nintendo GameCube, and particularly one of the games that sucked hours and hours and hours of my life before games counted your hours, thank God, and that is the Simpsons Road Rage game.
Awesome.
Specifically for the GameCube.
Elaine is a really, really good friend of mine. We actually met a few years ago while we were working at the same place. We just kind of found out that we had a lot of the same interests and started talking like TV shows that we liked. Video games came in, and then when I knew that I had found somebody really special that I knew I was just going to click with was when you started playing Skyrim. And this was 7-8 years after it had come out.
Yes.
So, you were kind of, blown away at how the scope of it and how big it was. And I remember, us just, prior to that, we'd have conversations, because we would chat through Messenger at our office building. And it would just be hey, what's up? Yeah, work sucks, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you played this game? Yeah, it's fun, blah, blah. And then you started playing Skyrim, and I would get paragraph after paragraph after paragraph about things you had done in the game, things you had seen, story questions, and I'm like, man, you are so deep into this. It blows my mind.
Deep dive.
And it was just really, really cool to have somebody that I could relate to and talk to, that loved video games as much as I did from a deeper perspective. And so we were hanging out tonight, and we kind of just were we were talking games like we always do, like you mentioned before. And we kind of just figured, let's make a video. What the hell? So,
why not?
Try it out, see what's going on. And Simpsons Road Rage. I have not played it.
It is, for me, it was a super common game. I just feel like maybe, kids my age at the time were really about it. But I was also a huge Simpsons fan my entire life that went beyond that. So when there was a game merge with it, I was immediately drawn to it. Kind of a cartoon junkie to begin with in terms of Cartoon Network, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
My dad was a big Family Guy fan, and Adult Swim was that dictated a huge part of my childhood. So Simpsons just fell right in line with that category. So of course when they had driving games were becoming really sophisticated. To call out to the N64, Cruisin' USA was a huge driving game.
Oh, it's
that
great.
was
Still great.
Yes, yeah, and that had the arcade version too. But to see driving games kind of take on another form where you had this open world map was where Road Rage really struck a fascinating chord with me, and where I just wanted to see more and see more.
So it's like an open world driving game like Crazy Taxi. I don't know if you've played that before.
That sounds super familiar. I'm going to assume yes, where you kind of have a city landscape to play with, if you will.
Yeah.
And so with Road Rage, what you were doing is Mr. Burns was that son of a gun. I don't know if we can curse on here, so I'm going to call him that.
It's fine.
So he's trying to take over the city with using nuclear-powered buses. And it's clearly a health threat to the citizens of Springfield.
Yep.
And the Simpson family knows this, so their solution to this is to run their own taxi service. So that's a little bit of the basis for the game. The more money you raise through the taxi services, through playing Road Rage, taking people from destination point A to point B, then the more you raise, the more maps you unlock and the more characters you unlock.
Okay.
So through every checkpoint, or earning checkpoint, I guess is what you would call it, you would unlock another part of Springfield. And that was...
Oh, wow.
So you started off with Evergreen Terrace, which is the first map. And that's basically the Simpsons neighborhood and the surrounding, the Quickie Mart is involved. where, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but like Mrs. Krabappel from like the school, like Willie, the landscape guy, like a lot of the main characters, it's where their homes are. So it's like the residential area.
That must have been so cool to see, like, as a Simpsons fan on any level, being able to like dive into this world and seeing the actual like Springfield come to life in a video game. This is for GameCube?
GameCube, yes.
Yeah, oh my god, that would have been so cool.
I'm 100% sure. It was on multiple systems. It might have even been a PlayStation game first. Okay. But GameCube World, Nintendo junkie, that's where I flourished with it. But yeah, it was open world, and yeah, that was the first time I ever saw Springfield in kind of a 3D realm, to my knowledge, that I knew of. I don't think there was anything quite like that before. And I've been to Universal Studios where there's an entire Simpsons world to it, and I was much, much, much older when that happened, and that was another level of awesome. So that definitely kicked open the door for seeing your fantasy worlds in 3D for me. My experience with Simpsons games was Bart versus the Space Mutants on NES, a really old game, hard as hell, and then the arcade game, obviously, that everybody knew, the beat 'em up. That was just so much fun, just like in the same vein of X-Men, Ninja Turtles, that kind of thing. It was always a blast to play that with 4 people as well. It does sound a lot like Crazy Taxi, because literally in that game, what you're doing is you're just trying to get as much money as possible by picking people up and bringing them to their destination. Yep. And that's it. So that is really, really cool. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's cool that now that I know that there's another game like that kind of mirrors that. I know there were several games along that category. I think there was a game literally just called Driver that I was a huge fan of in that era. That was that was another open world, like kind of open map driving game where I was like, whoa, which then kicked the door open to Grand Theft Auto. That's a different
I was about to say, this explains your love for GTA.
This is where the love started. That's a whole different topic, but that's where that started. But it also tied into being, a lifelong Simpsons fan, where literally on Christmas, a family tradition of ours is to watch Simpsons episodes, Simpsons Christmas specials.
Oh, that's cool.
Because they've been around for so many years, so they have umpteen Christmas specials. So to tie that in on an even broader level with the characters, they have little stories involved depending on which map you're in and who you're talking to and which driver you've picked, what conversations happen between you and the character you've picked up. Some are more generic, some are more specified, but it was, for me, at my ripe age of maybe, gosh, it was 2001 when the game came out, I would have been, I'm really bad at math.
We don't have to.
8. I would have been 8 or 9, so I know, that hurts me.
It hurts you? Thanks. No, it's fine. Poor you for being young.
We all feel the pain, okay? It's an equal hurt, no matter all the years.
So did the different characters that you could choose, did they play differently?
Yes, absolutely. It was kind of like certain characters were much faster. Like Bart drove a little, it was almost like the boxcar racing where you could decorate a boxcar to look like something and race it. It looked like a rocket ship. So Bart drove that, and it was real zippy and real fast, like light turns. You could be Willie and drive Willie on his tractor, and that was really slow. You could knock stuff over more, but you didn't quite have the agility. I would say different cars. I was always Lisa. Of course, I was always Lisa. Y'all should know this. Lisa, of course, she drove I'm going to name it wrong, but it was an electric car. I don't remember the exact name, but it was an electric car. And it had an annoying horn, and I remember all of her pieces of dialogue, but that was who I always picked and who I always talked to. And she had very Lisa-esque conversations where she'd be like, think green, and say things like that to her different passengers as they went. Homer was probably one of the funniest ones to play with in terms of the conversations he had with people, but Lisa was my go-to. But you could unlock a lot of good characters.
I'm picturing like a random townsperson just waiting for somebody to come pick them up, and then Maggie pulls up.
No, I don't think Maggie was a character, actually.
Oh, okay. So it's okay for kids to drive, but just babies.
Not
is where
babies.
They draw the line.
We draw the line at babies. If you still have to use a pacifier, you can't drive. Those are the rules.
Fair enough.
It's unwritten.
Oh, man.
But that's what you do. 8-year-olds are fine, though.
I kind of want to try this now.
It's a very fun game.
Try and find it.
There is a line from it. I think one of my favorite parts. So I played this game recently when I was on vacation with my family, with my brother, who I'd played this game with as a child. Whooped his butt for years. It's now a fair competition. But I got to kind of like revisit it and see some things I'd seen years and years and years in the past and had burned into my brain. And there's a line I realized I've used forever from Lisa Simpson, which is she has one where if you get hit, characters will make certain lines or be prompted to say certain things, and Lisa goes, "Everyone's a psycho but me!" And I just love that line for everyday use. That one really sticks with me, but that was good to hear at 28. I'm like, yes, Lisa gets it.
You want to come say hi, buddy?
Oh, hello. We have a guest in the studio.
What's up, pal?
Hello, Lock Boy.
You want to come sit on my lap, or what are you going to do? Are you just going to... Yep, there it goes. Hi, pal.
You can join in. Okay.
He likes The Simpsons a lot. Yes?
Who doesn't? I mean, God, how long have they been on the air? Someone has to like them. They've only predicted like 5 or 6 major events in American history before it happens.
Right.
So they have some relevance in our world.
I mean, I'm really, really curious just because it sounds so much fun. I mean, you and I always, like, anytime we get together, we talk games, and then one of us always has the other person being like, I need to try that now.
Yes.
Okay. Like we just watched before we did this, we watched the trailer for Forspoken before it came out.
That looks so cool.
Yeah. I remember the first time we actually hung out was, well, I say hang out, but that we like were together outside of work was when we went to go to GameStop to get you Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
And they didn't have it.
And that was, then yes, a deep, oh no.
Yep. It was on Black Friday. I remember that. Yep.
How did we solve that? I forget.
I was going to another GameStop later in the day after work,
right.
and I was able to pick it up there.
That's right.
So, yeah.
True,
Hi,
buddy.
This
Homie.
is the longest you've stayed on camera in a while. Okay. It's just because Elaine's here, right?
Three's company,
That makes sense.
It helps. It helps.
Oh boy.
But yes, Road Rage consumed years and years of my life, and characters like even Ralph and Chief Wiggum are in the show, which help also just the context and wholesomeness contribute. And you get to also do missions, so you do open world Road Rage, where you just pick up your customer and drop them off the destination, and then you can do head-to-head where you do certain things like...
I was about to ask about that, yeah.
Yes, so there's different... You can unlock certain things. If you complete all of the mission modes, you unlock a Homer vehicle, which is like a special character vehicle. I don't quite know the reference to what episode it might have come from. I'm almost positive it comes from an actual episode reference. But if you beat all the missions, then you unlock this vehicle. But the missions include if you're... let's say Willie, you have to knock over a certain amount of trash cans within a given map in a certain amount of time. If you're Snake, which is kind of one of the villain characters, he's always like, hello, and talks in like a surfer voice, the shoplifter, if you will. You have to like knock over bus stop stations within a certain period of time. There's tons of different things that tie out to it.
Yeah.
But it's really clever and it's really fun and some really hard. And my brother and I have screamed the TV over them many times and then had to cry for our dad to help us. But it was a great time. I mean, it was very clever.
Is it like, do you play at the same time or do you take turns?
You can do a one-on-one or like a head-to-head. But it doesn't count towards your game progress. So your game progress
so it's just
is
a fun thing you can do
yeah,
outside.
but it's a good thing. But like my brother and I took turns on beating different missions, which was
that's the way to do it.
And they're kind. And if you fail like 5 to 6 times in a row, which we've done, it's hard. They give you the option to skip the mission, so you can keep plugging along. I don't know if you still win the car if you haven't beat all of them.
You can probably go back to it though, right?
Probably, yeah. I think that's how that works because there was one that haunted many nights of my sleep. So it was, now looking, I think it's aged so well, looking at it at 2021 eyes, where I played it, from 28-year-old me, and I still loved it. I had a great time. We played it for hours, and I'd play it again.
Do you still have it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a memory card with I think I got all the characters but one unlocked.
So next time I'm at your place, we can bust it out?
Absolutely.
Try before I buy.
This is a sidebar, whether or not it's relevant or not. Whenever I was maybe 11 years old, my brother and I have 7 years between us, and he and his friends who are around his age. So if I'm maybe closer to 12, they're like 5 and 6, around that age. And I had pretty much beat the game. And this is, I'm not hundreds of hours of my life that I have sunk into this. I'm sad to admit it. And one of his friends, so my brother is around 6, and his friend's little brother, who's like 4, erased my memory card.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's brutal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With my Simpsons game,
Yeah.
and my Herbs Sims in the City game, and
Oof.
many other that for another day show to talk about. But it all worked out. I rebeat the game, became stronger from it, but that's another memory tied to it. Where it was like, it was so close, man. I had everything unlocked.
Oh, God.
And then it was all gone. And you can't get mad at a 4-year-old. So what do you do? What do you do?
Ugh,
But
that's
hey,
brutal, man.
2021, I've had a lot more time to beat it. We figured it out.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, hey, thanks for sitting down and chatting with me for a bit about why we do this anyways. But
Always.
like I said, getting in front of a camera talking about it is it's a little therapeutic. You just get your thoughts out there, get to talk to the world and whatnot. Well, 400 people on my channel, but either way, I did want to pose something if it's okay with you, because one thing that I typically like to do with Elaine is I will. Obviously, me being who I am and what I'm into, I love like recommending games to people, and so I recommend games to her all the time. And one thing that I try to recommend to her on a regular basis are games that I find out about or games that I know about that have a strong female lead, because I know that she does enjoy that quite a bit in those games. And so I want to kind of pose it to other people, because obviously there are tons of games I don't know about. If you know of any great games out there, like she's played Horizon Zero Dawn, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Cassandra, my girl.
So like, if you know of any games that are like that have a really strong female lead, that are really, really fun, by all means, please shoot those recommendations in the comments. Let us know, because it's really fun to be able to talk about that kind of stuff. And if you want to see Elaine back, let me know as well. Those of you that talk to me on a regular basis, I appreciate that. It was awesome to have you here.
Thanks for having me, letting me ramble.
Absolutely.
As always, about my favorite games.
For sure. We're going to go finish watching a movie.
Yeah, we are.
Yep. All right. With that, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. You know the drill. It's YouTube. You've been here before. And as always, keep on gaming.
How many finger guns can I do in 10 minutes?